Hi, St. Peter's friends. It's Amy again. It's week 4 of Lent, and this week's session is called Consider the Lilies from a passage in the Bible. Happy you could be with us. So, as usual, we're going to start with our meditation. Legs crossed, sitting on the floor on a cushion, or sitting in a chair with your feet flat on the floor, hands in your lap or on your knees, or in the mudra, the full moon, right under left, thumbs touching, back straight, neck straight, chin tucked in. And try to follow your belly breathing. All right, here we go, 1 minute. There's our timer. How was that? Maybe you noticed something this time around in yourself. Maybe you'd like to share that with us after the video in Spirit Quest. So today our reflection is a story that Jesus told about a farmer who was very successful. His land was producing more crops than he could even contain. He chose to keep all his crops to himself. He actually had to build bigger barns, tore down his old ones and build bigger barns to store his huge amount of crops. But then the farmer died before he even had a chance to enjoy all that he had saved. He had stored up treasures on earth, but not treasures with God. Kind of a sad story. Jesus goes on to say that there is much more to life than food and clothing. Jesus knew people often thought so much about what they would eat and what they would wear. They judged what others had or didn't have, and missed out on other treasures because they were so busy paying attention to that. Jesus told his disciples to consider how the birds and flowers live. What could we possibly learn from the ravens and the lilies? So this reading is teaching us how to live in the present moment, like birds and plants do. The story says if we spend too much time worrying about the future, we might not get to enjoy what is here right now, in front of us. Think about your pets if you have any. All their needs are taken care of, so they don't need to worry, right? Also, they don't think the way we do. They can stay in the present moment much better than we can. That's why they notice so many things, like squirrels outside the window, somebody coming to the door before we hear it, a car on the street. Or they even notice when people are sad in the house. They might come over to comfort you, and that's kind of a nice thing too. So they're very good noticers. They're always on the lookout because they're not thinking about other things. I know my dog Bodhi notices everything when we're walking in the woods. He shows us different animals or animal tracks or sometimes some poop or different things that he shouldn't eat. He shows us that too. But it's nice walking with a dog in the woods because it definitely brings you in the present moment and noticing what's around you. Animals in the wild need to stay present in order to survive. They need to notice if a predator is coming. They need to know where to find food. They don't sit around thinking, why do I eat berries? Or why is that bear's teeth nicer than my teeth? I don't think they sit around thinking like that. But do you know who else is really good at staying in the present? Kids. Babies and kids are excellent at staying in the present moment. They can be absorbed entirely by a game they're playing or a song their mom is singing. Unfortunately, the older we get, the more worries we have, and the less we're able to stay in the present. So that's why it's so important to spend time with kids. That's why I love coming to Spirit Quest too, to learn from you guys and how to live in the present moment and not be distracted. But even kids worry, don't they? You might have some worries right now about the virus. I know I do. Jesus said in the story that we should stop worrying, saying, "And can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your span of life?" This means that worrying won't help us to have more time. In fact, it can waste a lot of time in our lives. But it's easy to say, right? Don't worry. I bet your parents say this to you all the time. But it's very hard to do once you're started. Worrying is something that humans are really good at. You know, I worry about the future a lot. That's my main worry. Especially about Fiona and how she's going to be when she's older and after we're gone. But I can't really do much about that future, can I? By worrying about it. It doesn't really change anything. And it just makes me sad. So I know that when I spend time with Fiona and really pay attention to her in the moment, I feel much better because I can help her now be who she needs to be and help her learn, and I can do that in the present. I can't do anything about the future. So staying in the present can make you feel a lot better. But we can help ourselves to worry less. We can start by paying attention to the kinds of things we worry about. We can write them down, which we'll do later in Spirit Quest, or maybe talk to someone about them, or change something in our lives in order to worry about it less, kind of like adding a night light to your bedroom if you're worrying at night, that kind of thing. And we can also remember that worries come and go like other feelings. They don't stay forever. We can look at worries like a storm that comes and then goes. We're like a tree in the storm. Maybe our branches blow around, maybe we lose a few leaves here and there. But if you look at the trunk during most storms, the trunk of the tree is nice and steady, like the ones outside today. It's quite windy today. And we can remember that we're strong in our hearts, right down in our core. And we can do some belly breathing when worry comes. So we can breathe really exaggerated. That usually helps to calm us down. Do a big breath in, big breath out. Sometimes counting to 5 each time helps too. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you do that a few times, that'll definitely help with worry. And that's why we practice meditation too, isn't it? So we could be more like the rest of nature and pay attention to what is happening right now. Pay attention to our breathing. Pay attention to our bodies. And being present in our lives is definitely an important invisible treasure that we have as humans. So, I'd like to say a prayer before we go. Creator God, you know that we sometimes worry. Help us to remember to breathe and wait for the storm to pass. And know that you are always with us, right here and right now. Amen.